Homeland Security Expo at New Delhi's Bharat Mandapa brought together defense experts, operators and tech innovators from across the world. Now with India and indeed the world ramping up security spending, Chakra went to see what's on offer and what's next. Hi, welcome to the International Police Expo. I'm with Vivek Krishnan, CEO, SSS Defence, and he's going to talk about this new beast out of his stables. We were talking about the Raptor a little while earlier. We have something else which reminds me of a main battle tank from the Indian Army. That's something that would make my colleague Colonel Avasthi very happy. But I have with me here a T-72, an assault rifle made for the Armored Corps, Vivek.
Oh, yes.
There's a story behind this and you know that story well enough.
Right. The T stands for?
Well, I don't think what the T stands for is important in this particular instance.
Right.
Again, it's my design team that's now been taking on naming rights.
Right.
But that's a nice question. Let me kind of go back and ask him what exactly it is. I've lost my memory as to what the T stands for. It definitely has nothing to do with the T-72 if you're thinking
nothing.
that.
Okay, right. That put to
has,
rest.
has nothing to do with the T in the T-72 as well. Right?
So this is the 7.62 by 51 battle rifle that SSS Defence has been developing in utter secrecy. I've been there a couple of times to the SSS Defence facility. I only heard rumors about this weapon being developed. Is this a SIG 716 killer?
It is.
Right.
Very happy to say that.
Right. So this is, he's finally said it. It is the alternative to an imported weapon entirely born in Bharat, a battle rifle 7.62 into 51. It's one of a few that have been developed, but it's definitely one of the best looking Indian design, developed, manufactured battle rifles that I've ever held in my hands. And you know, Vivek, full marks to you. You've made something like this quietly over the last couple of months. You're very famously known for that outburst on Twitter. But
you call it an outburst, right? There was nothing outburst about it. It was possibly the most rational idea that I ever put forward.
Vivek questioned the reason for India to go in to buy a 7.62 into 51 battle rifle, an imported weapon, when you had companies like him that was fully capable of making an assault rifle, a battle rifle, end-to-end. And today he's finally proved it by producing a weapon that certainly looks good as the 716. In fact, a little better. But is it better than the 716, Vivek?
If you're asking somebody who's had his teams put sweat and blood into this in the course of the last 1 year as to whether that thing is great, he or she would definitely say, yes, it is. But let me give you an idea about the trials and the tribulations on this one.
Yeah.
When we started working on the M72, it was a 5.56 round.
Yes.
Here you're talking about a round which has got a little more energy, little more oomph in there, which is a heavier round as well. So you need to kind of fortify your internals when it came to a 7.62 by 51.
Yes.
We also learned from the mistakes that we've seen in the standard development process as you move from 5.56 to 7.62 39 to 7.62 51.
Right.
It's the same operating system, but the way that the operating system actually kind of delivers is going to be different. Your gas positions get different. Your gas port dimensions get different. You want to have a certain quantum of gas and volume and pressure coming in, because otherwise you would have instances where either the cycling is halfway or the cycling is too fast, resulting in the rounds not exactly ejecting the way you wanted to.
Yes.
And so I think what we did as far as the Raptor was concerned in this particular case was go back to the fundamentals of all the mistakes that we did while we were doing the development of the M72.
Right.
And then we try to correct those mistakes as we move forward on the design.
Right. So how is this different from the previous weapons that you've designed? I mean, I see a short stroke gas piston here. I see a lot of design elements from your previous M72s, the P72s. And I'm actually beginning to see a certain grammar in all of your products. I mean, they look from the same family, the same stable, you know, all your weapons. So tell us a bit more about what you've put into this rifle.
You know that thing, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Right. It's the same thing. I mean,
right.
Why would you want to redesign something which has been working fine?
Yes.
If the customer says, I don't like it, then we'll add certain features to kind of ensure that that particular concern is addressed. But we've not had instances where the customer comes back and says, I don't like that.
Right.
I mean, they of course love a full length Picatinny rail.
Yes.
They of course love the fact that there is deflection of the round which goes in the forward direction.
Right.
As
So
against trying
that's
to kind
what
of come
it's.
back.
This is meant to deflect the round.
That's meant to deflect the round in the
I
forward
haven't
direction.
seen that yet. I was going to ask
Oh,
you
it's
that.
there on the
What's it-
M72 as well.
Oh, right.
It's
right.
there on the M4. So
Right.
that's an idea that we picked up from the M4.
Right.
We've given up on the forward assist, which was there in one of the earlier iterations of the
Right.
M72. So there's no forward assist in this case.
Right. Right.
The short stroke piston continues to be a short stroke piston.
Yes.
There's a lot more of fortification when it comes to the metal parts, into the operations of those metal parts as well.
Right. 20 round box magazine.
Well, 20, and we also have the 30 rounds.
The 30
We have
round,
both
yeah.
of them, right?
And yeah, it feels like but what about the weight? I mean, have you brought the weight of the weapon down, or you've?
You know what? A 7.6251 is a 7.6251. You
Right.
cannot have a light rifle trying
You
to do the
can't.
job of a 7.6251.
Right.
You can have weight on around 3 to 3.25 kgs on the
What is this
5.56.
weigh at?
This is just around the 4 kg mark.
4 kgs.
Right?
And what was
and
the
it needs that level of weight.
absolutely you need for that to absorb that heavier round? But tell us about the muzzle brake here. It's a very interesting.
So if you're asking
design.
whether that's a good muzzle brake,
Is it a good
right?
one?
It's a good muzzle brake from the
Right.
perspective of reducing recoil. But
Right.
am I happy with that muzzle brake? I don't think so. I think we'll have to change that muzzle brake because I'd like to have something which is leaner.
Right.
That looks like a very fat man in the front.
Oh, right.
Right,
Okay. That's
so-
that's Vivek. He's never satisfied. This is Mark 1, incidentally, right?
Mark 4.
Mark 4.
We've damaged.
Oh, right. So there's a spiral development. You've gone to Mark 4,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
at what point you start offering it to the service? Is it available
It
for
is
the
available
Indian
to the
military?
service the way it is, right?
Right.
It'll do the job.
Are operators looking at it? Are they testing it in the field?
No.
Why not?
I don't see at this point in time the Indian military going any further on the 716, or rather, let me put it on the 762 by 51.
Right.
In the event they are, very happy to kind of come and ask us.
Right. When you say not going further on that, you mean they're not acquiring any more 76251?
Well, I think that was what the news was about, that they would have this one more round of acquisition on the 6716 for the 76251, and then
a
thereafter.
third round of acquisition.
No, I was under the impression that there would be no further third round of acquisition.
Right.
But in the event there is a third round of acquisitions on the 76251, we're very
Yes.
happy to kind of take the weapon out, trial them out, give us
Right.
feedbacks, see if things improve from where they are,
Right.
and this time around try and field a 100% indigenous weapon.
Right.
And by the way, it's not just us. There are other companies also which today have actually started making the 76251, at least in prototype mode.
Yes.
The difference is this is not a prototype anymore.
This is Mark 4, as you mentioned.
This is Mark 4, and this
Right.
is available for sale, and this is available for sale for domestic and international customers.
Right. So tell us about your international customers, because we're always hearing the fact that you shouldn't only look at the Indian market, and certainly a company like SSS Defence would not only be looking at the Indian market. How much success have you had in the overseas market in terms of inquiries? Are people coming and testing your weapons, looking at them? Because your finish, I must say, is absolutely international.
So we've actually had multiple instances where the customers have come down to a facility, tried and tested the weapons, written back reports where the acquisitions will happen in the course of the next 3 months.
Right.
Right? These are countries which have got good militaries, which
Right.
have got good special forces.
Right.
These are not countries which are a one-off
Hmm.
acquisition program-based countries.
Right. So you're
These are all
looking at
countries
relationships.
that are looking towards replacement of existing NATO weapons
Right.
with our weapons.
Right. Right.
So a lot of countries, as you will know, have either gone towards the Soviet bloc or have gone towards the NATO blocs. You have a
Right.
lot of countries which are using the old M16s,
Right.
and you have a lot of countries which are using the old Kalashnikov-based rifles. So a lot of countries which have the old M16s are wanting to replace them with, again, NATO weapons because of the fact that the ammunition becomes common.
Right. So 762 NATO
So the
round.
762 is a
Right.
common round. A lot of them
Right.
have been in the process of, for example, M16 is your 5.56,
Yes.
M4 5.56,
Right.
and you have the NATO weapons which are chambered for the 76251. They're replacing some of those and going in for fresh acquisitions. This is where a weapon of this sort comes in.
Right.
It comes in also because of the fact that production capacity across the world today is substantially hollowed out.
Right. Because of the war in
because of the war
Ukraine.
in Russia, Ukraine, you don't
Yes.
have the Russian military industrial complex churning out as many weapons for themselves. Forget
Right.
about churning out weapons to us,
Right.
right? or maybe other countries,
Right.
which have traditionally been dependent upon the Soviet bloc.
Yes.
The American industry as of today, when it comes to weaponry, when it comes to firearms, is largely catering to its own.
Right.
It is not going out and substantially catering to a large NATO audience,
Right.
which is why as of today you have the entire NATO bloc
Yeah.
trying to push their own OEMs to not supply anywhere else but to supply to themselves
Right.
on a priority basis. That means you have a whole lot of countries in Asia, you have a whole lot of countries in Latin America, a whole lot of countries in Africa,
Right.
which have been dependent upon either of these two blocks,
Right.
but do not have any more supplies coming to them because neither of these two major
Yes.
countries are in a position to do foreign military sales of firearms.
Right.
Right, so that
And-
gives us an
and you
opportunity,
are,
and
right.
we are.
Triple S Defence is
And
right
we are.
there. A new block.
We've
right
invested
there.
in capacity, we've
Right.
invested in barrel making, we manufacture everything in this.
Right.
Everything in this is manufactured.
Everything is manufactured
Everything is manufactured by
in-house.
us. On this one, the magazine is not ours, and I admit to the fact that the magazine is not ours at this
Right.
point in time. But I'm happy because I've got a third-party manufacturer of the magazines whose magazines work beautifully well.
Right. And there's an Indian manufacturer.
That's a Macpull magazine.
Macpull,
Great
right.
magazine, no doubt about this. But for
Right.
now, we're using this. We would be very happy to kind of put out our own magazines in due course of time. But that's
Right.
a work in progress. 95% is indigenous, even otherwise.
So that's fascinating, Vivek. You're saying that your company has invested in not just production, but the testing facilities, the designing of weapons, of course, and you're making everything in-house. You don't depend on any other.
We work with a lot of suppliers,
Right.
but
You created the whole ecosystem.
we've created the ecosystem.
Right. Right. Absolutely fabulous.
That's important because tomorrow, if you need to have sustained production of firearms, whether that is conflict or
Right.
no conflict, then you still
Right.
need to have the ecosystem of suppliers.
Right.
We're not Russia, where you have a whole city
Yes.
which does nothing but manufacture for the Kalashnikov series of rifles.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
you go to Tula there, that whole city is all about manufacturing for the Tula plant.
For the Tula plant.
Right? You don't have anything remotely close to that in
Right,
India.
right,
So what we're
right.
trying to do is we're trying to create a little bit of that ecosystem as we
Right.
move on.
Right.
Any good business that comes to us is actually going to be improving
Yes.
the capability of that particular ecosystem as well.
Right. So back to the T-72. Who are the users who are interested in it in India?
In
presently?
India, the
Apart
largest
from the
user
army,
will be
of course.
the army if they want to look at it. Besides the army, a few police forces, a few paramilitary forces.
Right.
It is common for people to ask this question, kiske liye develop kiya hai?
Yes.
Right? I don't have an answer to that. I don't
Right.
think I have an answer to that. I think this was something that we were always working on.
Right.
We just ensured that it did go through its whole process, at least had a
Right.
chance to kind of go out and show what it's capable of doing.
Right.
There is no weapon which is perfect. Please understand that. The
Yes.
6716 is not perfect as well.
Right.
In fact, if you look at what SIG has had to face over the course of the last few weeks, it's nothing but damage control mode because a P320 family, which includes M18 pistol, has
Yes.
actually been taken out of use by the US Air Force because
Right.
of accidental discharges.
QC issues.
Right, QC issues and a host of other things.
Right.
So, there is no one who's absolutely perfect.
Right.
The philosophy in our place is test, go back to the
Right.
drawing board.
Right.
If you need to redesign, do that redesign. I don't think many firearm manufacturers in the US actually
Right.
have that flexibility. One, because of labor issues. Two, because of the fact that the manufacturing supply chain
Yes.
is very, very, sort of defined.
Right.
Right, I can create a new manufacturing supply chain for a weapon, but they would
Yes.
not be able to do that. They would have to
Right.
go back to that same supply chain to prevent anything but commonality from having
Right.
a sale.
Right. Absolutely. Fascinating, Vivek. So good talking with you, as always. And that's Vivek Krishnan for you. He tweeted that very famous tweet last year when India decided to go in for more imported 716 battle rifles. But Vivek, being Vivek, just went back to the drawing board and he produced a battle rifle that I believe is better than anything I've seen coming out of an Indian facility.
Due
Once
credit
again,
to that team that decided to kind of channelize all of that anger and all of
Yes.
that frustration into making a weapon that would be called better than the SIG at some day in the future.
right.
So I think that team deserves all the credit, pretty much all the credit for every series of rifles that you've seen here.
Absolutely.
I have
All the
very little
answers
to
that
say.
you have
I
behind
have
you.
very little to say besides an occasional outburst, as you say.
Right. Thanks very much, Vivek. Pleasure speaking with you as always, and all the very best to you and your team as you make more of these born in Bharat battle rifles.